Okay, so I thought it would be cute if I wore my NaNoWriMo winter t-shirt with this blazer, because how will people know that I'm a writer if I'm not wearing a blazer? But it's actually really hot in my house right now. So fit check real quick. Here it is, blazer and t-shirt. And then we're gonna get rid of this. Nailed it. Hey everyone, Camp NaNoWriMo is right around the corner, and this is what I'm doing to get ready. So for anybody who's unfamiliar with NaNoWriMo overall, first of all, where have you been? NaNoWriMo is short for National Novel Writing Month, and it originally started in November, and it's when a bunch of crazy people get together and they try to write an original 50,000 word novel in the month of November. And the goal with this is that you can edit or revise an imperfect page, but you can't edit a blank page. So the whole goal is just to get words down on the page so that you have something to work with and you have a really big chunk of words to work with. And because people loved NaNoWriMo so much, they actually started doing 2 different Camp NaNoWriMos, which are in April and June. And these are basically meant to just be like virtual writers' retreats where people get together and work on their stories, and it's just a great time. I've personally never done a Camp NaNoWriMo. I've done regular NaNoWriMo a few times, but I have never done a Camp NaNoWriMo, and I'm excited because it's a little bit less intense. So instead of going for a 50,000 word goal, you can do whatever you want. It could be a page a day, it could be 500 words a day. Maybe you want to try to write 1 poem every day. Whatever goal seems like it's gonna fit for you, you can do during Camp NaNoWriMo, which is awesome. So I have put a lot of thought into what my goal is going to be in the month of April, because I'm currently revising my novel Collide. And the goal that I eventually landed on was to spend at least 1 hour per day working on my story Collide. April is just around the corner, so here's what I am doing to prepare for Camp NaNoWriMo. First things first, I need to figure out what I'm bringing with me to camp. So here is my Camp NaNoWriMo packing list. First is my computer, and this one's pretty obvious because I type my stories. They exist on Google Docs. But the computer is also super helpful because then I can access super helpful resources like WordHippo, which is my new obsession. I've been telling my students all about it. WordHippo is great, and I usually use it for the thesaurus function, and I love it because it gives really colloquial synonyms. So words that people actually say and phrases that people actually say out in the real world. Some thesauruses are like really stuffy and they don't have all of the options that WordHippo does. WordHippo is also great for finding rhyming words if you're doing poetry during Camp NaNoWriMo. And WordHippo also has a find a word function. So if you have a word that's like right on the tip of your tongue and you can't figure out what it is, we've all been there. It can also help with that. The second thing that I need to have with me is a notebook, and notebooks are really helpful, even though I type my stories, because I might have a random idea that I can jot down in here to use for later. I am also a to-do list person. I cannot function if I don't have a to-do list. So being able to write down what I want to work on during that day is going to be really helpful for me. When I very first started writing, I wrote by hand because I was writing stories in the back of my middle school classes. Don't do that. So sometimes when I'm feeling really stuck, I will write a little bit by hand because it kind of brings me back to like when I started writing stories in the first place, and it can kind of get me unstuck sometimes. So that's the other reason I like to have a notebook with me. The next thing that I have to have with me is, of course, my little pouch of magical things. In here I have all kinds of pens, pencils, sticky notes, highlighters, just all of the office supplies. I also have a phone charger in here and a couple of other little things. Like, look at this cat to-do list sticky note. I haven't even opened it yet because it's so cute. Something that is a little unique that I have are these transparent sticky notes. I love these. I'm in a critique group right now, and if I wanted to put this on top of one of my critique partners' writing and like write a note for them on top of it, these are kind of fun. They're also really helpful when I have notes on my own story that I want to make for myself and kind of have stick out. So these are really cool. I really like these. I have my writing binder, and this is where I keep the chapters that I'm currently reading for the other ladies in my critique group, but it's also where I keep notes and things. So if I were to write something down in my trusty notebook and I would want to hold on to it for future reference, I might put it in here, and I have some like research and things in here as well. Also in my binder, I have this little calendar here And this is where I'm just going to be keeping track of the time that I spend towards my goal. I printed off 2 in case I make a mistake on the first one. I'm human, but I'm just going to be writing down how much time that I spend each day towards my goal. Of course, my goal will at the end of the month be to have 30 hours in. I might have more some days, I might have less some days, because life is busy and that's okay. Last but certainly not least, the last thing I need to bring with me to NaNoWriMo is my writing buddies. It's really important to have a support system with you, whether the person that you're working with is doing the full 50,000 words or they're just doing, like me, an hour a day. Being able to talk to other people that are in the same process, give each other support, encourage each other, hype each other up, that is a super important part of the process. So I have my best friend Chris, as well as the couple of gals that are in my critique group to kind of hype me up and keep me going. If you would like to be my writing buddy, you can follow me over on Instagram, where I will be updating as often as I can. I also really want to try to do some live writing sprints here on YouTube, where I would basically do a live stream and then we can chat and do some writing sprints together. So if that's something that is interesting to you, you should subscribe so you can see when I eventually do that. And I will post the link to my NaNoWriMo page. If you have an account there and you want to add me as a buddy on there, that is totally fine too. I will put that in the description box down there. Going into the month, I know that there's a couple of you guys that have never done a Camp NaNoWriMo or NaNoWriMo at all in the past, so I wanted to give a couple of just like general tips. The first one is just to have fun with it. I know that we are working towards these big goals and that can be kind of daunting and scary, but at the end of the day, this is just to have fun and make a lot of progress in our writing, and the best way to do that is to not stress about it. If you were doing the full 50,000 words, it is hard, but oh my gosh, it'll be so worth it when you actually finish it and you have that huge chunk of writing that you made in a month. I hope that this video was helpful if you are somebody who is going to be joining Camp NaNoWriMo this April. If you are going to be taking part in it, let me know down in the comments what your goal is and what kind of story you're going to be working on. And feel free to add me on Instagram or on the NaNoWriMo website so you can see my updates as I go. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys in my next video and possibly in some live streams in the month of April. Good luck on your Camp NaNoWriMo journey and happy writing.